I was playing a lot of golf, and some friends came around and sort of came up with the idea of starting Solos as a golf sock and golf wear brand. And by late October, we'd already launched the brand, moved into the corporate market, and was doing really well. Late November, Ollie and I, one of the co-founders, jumped on a plane to China and essentially broke down a golf sock and the pain points behind a golf sock. So looking at people getting blisters. All right, well, let's put an extra 2 centimeters on the top of the heel. Ultimately, we aim to resolve 99% of blisters or eliminate them as such. Then looked at the weave of the sock and how that works, and we've come up with a really cool new technology called New Wave. Essentially, we're using a zigzag design around the sock, the sole, and the arch to ultimately create more stability and more comfort throughout the foot as you play. So that's a world first that we've brought to market, and we're really excited about that. And then, come last month, end of the month, we finally launched the golf brand with a focus around innovation and really high-end performance. Mm-hmm. What happened was just this really strong link to our pillar around mental health. Mm-hmm. And essentially we created the Solos brand through our own scenarios. Myself, in a really dark place last year. Ollie was in a really interesting place a few years ago after a surfing accident at Bondi Beach. And so we launched the You're Not Alone teaser, and it's just been really cool to watch the amount of people that have actually got around it. We're up over 65, 70 calls now direct with individuals around the world, from Asia Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, South Africa, UK, Europe, US, and everyone seems to have a really strong link, or it's resonating with them, and that they were using golf as, I guess, a form of release or to just take their mind off what was going off outside of playing golf. So whether it was work related or family related, I'd love to chat more about, I guess, the fatherhood side that you were mentioning earlier. Yes, so I guess from that, the Solos brand is now looking at areas that we weren't really focusing on, apart from it being a pillar of our brand, and we wanted to give some kind of message around men's mental health. That's now moving into women's mental health as well, and the ripple effect that may come from husbands, partners, fathers, brothers, etc., and really looking into that. So we're really excited over the next month to see what really starts to happen. It's been a really exciting and busy few weeks, and we've seen a strong change from our initial target around innovation to this side around creating community and connection through mental health awareness. I think the other cool thing is, what Beyond the Game is about, and what we're looking to bring to our communities. Like, I'm really excited to be able to get you on board, Mike. We've been around each other since 2014-15 when you first had Beyond the Beers, which was a phenomenal achievement in itself, where you were heading around the country and doing these seminars for men, and I'd love for you to share a little bit on that if you wanted to quickly run into that.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Yeah, it was, we've talked about this, but in essence, what was Beyond the Beers? Well, I suppose the first thing was, it was a place, I suppose the tagline was conversations and cool shit for men. And really it was about providing an avenue where dudes can actually just start to explore things that we tend to maybe just stick to on the surface while we have a beer. And, whilst the two things around men's mental and emotional well-being and alcohol can be perhaps things that clash and a terrible idea for some people, I think for, most everyday dudes, where we are connecting is having a beer or a coffee or on the golf course, right? Whatever the things are. And let's actually use that Trojan horse, as it were, to facilitate deeper conversations, the stuff that we don't necessarily talk about. And so that was really what that was for me in one form. Tom, it was a marketing exercise, like how do we bring more men into having conversations with a bit more depth? Because, I've worked with men as a coach for many years, well over a decade now, and man, I've had thousands of conversations and some pretty remarkable conversations, some very fucking heavy conversations, but also I think it would surprise people just how many conversations I've had that are extremely similar, especially for your everyday dude. And whilst every situation is different and there is a lot of specificity to every guy's scenario, the stuff that really is beneath the surface is just extremely common. And one of those through lines, I think, that I know to be true, and that was really one of the aims with Beyond the Beers, is that we've all got shit. It's very easy for us to, fall into these old ideas of suffering in silence and keep it to yourself and don't show cracks and weaknesses and all this kind of stuff. And whilst it's great for a dude to build resilience and all this kind of stuff, we all have pain and we all carry shit. And the easiest way to get through it is to first have it witnessed. And when you get into a room and you realize, oh shit, this dude's just like me. These other guys are just like me. It makes it so much easier to just deal with it and work through it. And of course, for me, that was something like Beyond the Beers, a show initially as well as the events. But it can be anything like this. It can be on the golf course with someone who you might have no history with. And so there's actually an easier barrier. There isn't the depth of understanding, and this person knows my whole story. Or it can be a mate that you've known forever and you've just always talked the same old shit. And there might be the courage one day to dive into it. So that's what Beyond the Beers was about, but it's really what, all I do is helping men get to those depths, because we all have shit, and on the flip of that is we all want lives of depth, whether that be in our experiences, in our relationships, depth of connection. And in order to have depth, you've got to know your own depths, be familiar with that and be able to visit it. Otherwise, we live at the surface, right? So there are many avenues for that, and that's why I love, the idea of golf or whatever it might be, where we can actually start to visit depths and create more depth in our life.
You mentioned that you went down to the driving range the other day.
I did.
How was that?
It was, not going to be a surprise perhaps to most people. It was different things, right? It was satisfying, it was frustrating, and one of the, I can go to the range for different reasons, and I don't go all the time, but golf is something that exists on the periphery for me. But, it's like committing to something. I realize if I fully take on golf, it's a big commitment. So I haven't fully taken it on, because otherwise, I'm like, I can't organize my life in that way yet. But I'll go to the range sometimes because I am wanting to move. I want to hit some balls, sometimes because I've got some frustration. I want to smack the shit out of some things, Last week wasn't so much that. My daughter, my 5.5-year-old daughter, sparked this one. Daddy, can we go down to the golf and hit some balls? I was like, absolutely we can, buddy. And so mostly it was slow going and a little bit of fun, and but also then one of the spots opened up next to us, so she went and jumped in there, and then I was just like, here's some balls, where you go, and Daddy's going to smack the shit out of some. So it's a bit of fun.
How awesome is that as well, that it is that little bit of alone time that you do get with your daughter. I shared my experience with you previously, how Bella and I, she's 7 and she loves golf, which I don't know how I fell into that one, but very blessed. It's just such a important time now where I've just gone, hold up. This is a time where I can literally be present with my daughter, just one-on-one, father-girl time, or father-son time if you've got a boy. And I mean, we were there last night. She had her weekly session, and then she wanted to stay for dinner. She's like, Daddy, can we just do a daddy-daughter night and just have dinner here? And I was like, of course. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no to staying at the golf club. But it's pretty powerful, man. Like it's a surreal feeling, I find as well.
Yeah, exactly.
As you know, Beyond the Game kind of started out of nothing. We weren't expecting to do this at all. It almost became an organic stepping stone to what was going on after the launch of our retail golf range. And so we're branching this out now into Beyond the Game, where it's just honest, authentic conversations with people around the world that, for the most part, have some link to golf, but are willing to talk about experiences and how they're feeling or what they've gone through. So when you and I are talking and we've got some cool stories lined up, I think the main aim from my view here is with Beyond the Game is to really try and showcase that there is a place where you can connect and feel trusted, you're not judged, and we're always here to chat and share stories, because at the end of the day, as our slogan goes, you're not alone, but everyone goes through these scenarios at some point of their life or are affected through other people.
Yeah.
From your end, what do you want to achieve out of this? What's your mind thinking with Beyond the Game and your involvement as the Solos man coach? Nice little slogan.
Look, I mean, as I was really saying before, sure, I have my business and all the things I do, but ultimately for me, Tom, I'm in the business of helping men level up their emotional literacy, their emotional well-being. And I think when we do that, when you can impact the internal dude in here, man, that has the flow on everywhere, right, to his life, whatever that is. And I'm a father, and I talk about fathers a little bit as well, but regardless, we are all an ancestor of something. We've inherited the world that we live in, and I think it is a giant project to try and make big change, and it can be a fucking giant project to make a change just in your world. But for me, I'm in the business of helping men get the shit together, is the simplest way to phrase it. And in many different places and avenues, it's here. It might be some conversation I have down the street 2 hours from now, who knows. And so, you know, I love being involved with people, good company, where we can actually make a difference and help, you know, men, as I said before, you know, create more depth in their lives.
I guess how can people also connect with you? I mean, we're going to be tagging you a heap and sharing your
Yeah.
face on screen on socials.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
do
look,
you have
that's the
any other?
simplest way. Wherever you're finding this, I'll probably be tagged in some way. I don't encourage, maybe you could, but if you search Michael Campbell golf, then you won't find me. Mike Campbell, maybe. Look, Mike Campbell MC is my handle, but it'll probably be tagged somewhere. You know, feel free to find my website, reach out. My inbox is always open, as it were.
All right, brother. Well, no, thank you so much for connecting, and I'm really excited to officially get this little series
Yeah,
moving.
absolutely.
And looking forward to getting into episode 2 and really breaking down a few questions that have come through from our community, which hopefully might help a few people as well. So
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
if we can help provide some tools, some insight, maybe even some permission, all for it.
Yeah, I love that. All right, brother. Well, take care, my man, and look forward to speaking soon.